Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to the channel. We're going to be looking at creating bass and we're back in Vital today. So we're going to be looking at creating a bass sound within Vital for drum and bass. So stick around if you want to see what we create and come up with by the end of this video. So let's get right into it, here we go. Okay, so here we have an initialized preset. The first thing we're going to do is go into Oscillator 1 and select basic shapes for our wavetable. We're going to use sine wave. We're also going to select basic shapes for Oscillator 2 and once again sine wave. And in Oscillator 3 we're going to come all the way down to the bottom of the list and select water razor and use that wavetable for Oscillator 3. We can now go and turn all of these on and we're going to move this one up by 12. So shift and drag up. That will give you a whole octave up. And then we're going to put these onto 0. There we go. I want this one, Oscillator 1, to be the main sub. So I'm going to put that on direct out. Okay, we're going to come here, we're going to go up to like this one, because then I'm going to put a low pass on this more squared off sine wave. Okay, so you'll see we got this. And as we start to introduce the low pass, it starts to play with the shape, and we go back to this. So you get that more kind of mid-rangey sub by adding in those harmonics. So you can play around with how much you want that exactly to work. So we can come here somewhere, quite like that. So we can then go ahead and turn these oscillators back on. I'm going to turn the volume of this one down. To start with, and then I'm going to turn this one down as well and this one, and we're going to first of all come over here and just create this shape, this LFO here like this. Let's put it on 1/4 and let's change it to like triplets, have it in trigger mode, and then we're just going to drag this to the levels of both of these here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come to this here and we're going to add the FM from 3. And then we can adjust this amount here by playing with this one here. We can sort of find an area where we like it. Let's say we're happy around there somewhere. You could always adjust this if you wanted to. Later on, come into the effects section here. Now we're going to add this to start with. I'm just going to boost this in. And then let's go to the compressor and we'll move this after the EQ here. I'm going to put this into single band mode like this. We can now put the distortion after the compression here. And then we can think about adding this to the drive here. So just creating that subtle little movement there. And then to finish off with, we're just going to add this here. We'll put that at the end of the chain. Let's bring this down. Just to prevent any kind of clashing of these notes, let's just put that onto legato mode and then we can just turn up this glide here, and then that's going to avoid, as long as we put this on 1, that's then going to avoid any of that happening. So yeah, we could add a filter here like this, and then we could use this to create some movement on here. Put these through it as well, obviously, otherwise we won't get anything. And then what you can do on here is you can put it like this onto here, but we'll make this go down the other way, so make this go like this way. So you can kind of do this filtering automation there. So we can add this, call this filter. Okay, and another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into LFO2, and then we're going to come to the matrix here. We're going to select LFO2, and we're going to go to the global, and we're going to go to the transpose there, and then we're going to just right click on here, and then we're going to enter value, and we're going to put this one like 1, for example, and then we should get something like that. And then we come back out of here. You can then start to add a few more things in here. For example, we can come in here and put this here. We'll put it onto 0. And let's control this with the macro here. And then we can just call this, just to keep it simple, we'll call it smear. And then we'll listen to what this does when we play with this. Here we go. Okay, so that's what we get with that one. And then let's do something similar over here with this one. But we're going to use, let's go for bend on this one. And then we get stuff like this. We can move this around. This one starts in the middle, so let's just double click reset that. And then let's drag this one whilst pressing shift. If I let go of shift, you see it goes one way, and if I press shift, now we see it goes both ways. So we'll leave that there. So we need to make sure that this one here starts on the 5.5, close enough, and then we should get the original sound. And then if we move this about, we'll start to get some variations. Okay, there we go. We could also now go in here, we got this, and we could start to add this on as well. We use this to control and modulate this level here as well, similar to what we're doing with the other oscillators. Okay, and that's about it really for this sound, I have to say. But the only other thing we could do is maybe just drag this one here. We could also put that onto there, so you can just play around with this FM amount as well. Don't forget you can also play with this oscillator here, because this is dictating a lot to do with the tonality of this sound. So for example, first of all, if we play with this, let's go up 1, so it's 24, and hit the difference. We get that, and if we turn it up to like 36, we get. If we go really extreme to the next octave, we get. So you can see changing those can be quite fun as well. Don't exclude them. We'll put this back down to 12 just for the moment, but remember you can always play with these as well. And we can change the amount that's on here as well by using this one here. Let's just name these quickly. For example, this one was going to the bend, so we're just going to call this bend. There we go, and then this one, we'll call this the FM. And then let's see what this one does when we move this. And just for a bit more impact on that first note, we could just do the classic kind of come in here, make one of these, and I like to do this personally, so I can just play around with this really finely. So let's go and set this up now in the matrix. So let's go to the empty slot we have here, and this is coming from LFO3, and then that's going to go to its destination, which will be once again the transpose. So we go to that, and then this time we're going to be a bit more extreme with the value to create that kind of transient sound that we know. So we're going to go 24 semitones for this one. Type that in there. I'm going to leave this looping so you can really hear every time it goes around what it does. So then we're going to fine tune this by moving this. So let's go and put this now in below. Okay, so once you've got that done, you've now got this transient in here. That's pretty much it for this sound, and that's kind of what I wanted to show you for today. Like I said, it was just a quick one. Once again, another sound design video we've got here today. So thanks for your time, guys. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, take care and peace.